Today we'll be talking about the National Liberation Day of Korea. The National Liberation Day of Korea is a holiday celebrated annually on August 15th in both North Korea and South Korea. It memorializes the day that Korea finally broke free of Japan's power. It is also the only Korean public holiday celebrated by both North and South Korea. It is also known as Gwang-bok-jeol in Korea. Gwang-bok-jeol. Gwang-bok-jeol. Here's the pronunciation right there. And it is translated into the Restoration of Light Day. The Korean Liberation Day is also known as Victory over Japan Day. Korea was colonized by Japan for 35 years, from 1910 to 1945. And Japan surrendering and the war ending liberated Korea from Japan's rule. You may or may not be wondering why Korea doesn't call it their Independence Day. If Korea called it their Independence Day, it would mean that they became independent for the first time, underplaying the long history of Korea as a nation. By using the word liberation means that you got back your absolute power from those who took it from you. A very popular tradition for August 15th, Liberation Day, is to hang the Korean flag in front of your house. In an effort to make Korea's dependency, Japan forced Korea to sign the Japan-Korea Treaty of 1910, triggering Japanese annexation of Korea. The treaty gradually restricted Korea from developing its own political, military, and cultural status, making it completely impossible for Korea to build a national identity. So Seodamun prison was one of the buildings that Japan made for Korean people, and it wasn't a present whatsoever. Seodamun prison was a prison built by the Japanese to torture and kill Korean activists trying to fight for their freedom. It began construction in 1907 and opened on October 21st, 1908, under the name of Gyeongseong Gamok. At the beginning, it only held around 500 people, but gradually held more than 3,000 people, including kids. After the prison gained independence, the appearance changed. The prison held records of all prisoners, even going as far as identifying moles on a person's body to make sure that they didn't attempt escape. The Japanese didn't care if the prisoners were kids or women. They were all treated the same. The Japanese banned Korean language because it might encourage independence, but scholars encouraged students to learn the language. 33 scholars got arrested for teaching the Korean language. The National Liberation Day of Korea isn't just a day to celebrate getting a day off from work or school. It is a day to celebrate the day that Korea finally escaped Japan's grasp after 35 years. 감사합니다.